you've entered a time of rapid progression. November 15, 2013. The colony of Atlantis was brimming and alive with spiritual energy and widespread spiritual understanding on the part of its citizens. Advanced and brimming crystal technology was prevalent, and the manner in which buildings were constructed was one that utilized crystal to give the buildings energy without the need for the outdated electricity methods used on your planet currently. Enlightenment was one of the biggest themes of Atlantis, but we should stress that despite the advanced nature of much of what was used, your collective consciousness was still susceptible to lower-oriented influences that eventually caused Atlantis and Lemuria's sinking. Atlantis is an important part of your history as a species, and will come to be fully understood as your populace continues to seek answers about it and so many other things. Lemuria is much less often discussed than Atlantis, but despite this, Lemuria was an equally developed and advanced society whose citizens did go on to find evolution in the realms of the inner earth, or Agartha as it's been referred to. The Lemurians who foresaw the destruction of both colonies took physical and spiritual refuge in the realms of the inner earth, where they were happily greeted by enlightened souls already living there and welcomed to integrate into the society that was already flourishing. Spiritual awakening has taken place in every century. Needless to say, when humanity is introduced to the inner earth and all who exist there, you'll be introduced to Lemurian souls and souls who were there before the Lemurians arrived. Your collective understanding of your history has been distorted to say the least, and the existence of various advanced civilizations, Atlantis being one, has been covered up in an attempt to make you think your reality has been limited and survival-based up until the current time you find yourselves in. Indeed, it hasn't been, and in fact, spiritual awakening has taken place throughout every century of your time, and even in this day, people are ascending from your planet, with some choosing to come back and assist in the collective evolution. The Atlanteans had the sacred opportunity to collectively evolve and greet the end of their growth cycle with the start of a higher dimensional one. But the acts of warfare that resulted in the destruction of both colonies led most of the Atlanteans to take a few final lower dimensional cycles wherein they've worked out their karma before ascending to the next stage. Love, joy and harmony are much more prevalent and fed in the higher dimensions than we could yet express, and the Atlanteans were just beginning to pick up on and understand these concepts in the greatest sense before entering their next lower dimensional cycle. Atlantis was a society bent on advancement and excelling in ways much different from your current society. The Atlanteans understood the power of crystal energy, and happily utilized the energy prevalent in your atmosphere for myriad important things. Atlantis was powered by free and crystal energy, as well as various other things your society hasn't yet rediscovered, and many Atlanteans reached the point of enlightenment and were able to evolve with the Lemurians. Some Atlanteans chose to depart the surface of the earth with the Lemurians and venture underground to the ascended inner earth, and since then, they, like the Lemurians, have actively monitored and worked to help humanity along your evolutionary growth back into the joyful and balanced realms of the fifth dimension. Evaluating your progress. We ask you to ponder where you perceive yourselves to be in your evolution in this moment. Do you feel that you're reaching greater personal and spiritual heights, or do you perceive yourselves as floundering or wasting energy and potential that you feel you could be utilizing? As always, we'll affirm with love that even those of you who feel as if you're doing very little are contributing much energy and effort to your ascension, as your presence on the earth and the energetic effects bred from it help those around you who are stuck in the mucky unawareness of the lower vibrations you're growing away from, and subsequently bringing into the higher realms. Many of you have come to act as conscious way showers and light workers for the ascension of the planet, and those of you consciously utilizing the higher dimensional energy you're being given have as well made great effects in your collective consciousness. You're helping others who may otherwise remain unaware to unlock and refine the divine burning flame that can never be extinguished, and as you do this we ask you to seek the aspects of your earthly experience that you enjoy and that are able to fill you with the good vibration you're anchoring and helping spread. It can be easy to forget about the importance of nurturing yourselves, but doing so can only deplete your energy and enthusiasm to be a part of the building of your new paradigm. You have so much good to do and so much pure energy to spread, and as long as you can remain in a happy and joyous place, you can continue to give the effort so many of you happily and excitedly give. We recommend pondering your future and asking yourselves what you'll do in an era of widespread change brought about by humanity. Ponder a time when there's nothing holding you back from achieving your greatest dreams and desires, and understand that you've already entered such a time and can now create in a greater manner that sees you reap everything you sow, whether it's perceived as positive or negative. Recognizing that you're in the driver's seat and can decide where you take your life and your role from here on out, we are confident that you can unlock the everlasting liberation that so many awakening souls are accessing as they reach the greater perceptions that help them see that freedom has always been here with you, waiting to be rediscovered and picked back up on. The greatest and strongest spiritual links. You maintain the greatest and strongest spiritual links in every moment. It's simply the extent to which you utilize these links that determines how much you're able to perceive of us and the realms we happily exist in. It'd be counterproductive at this point to doubt yourselves or convince yourselves you're less than what you are any longer, because the amount of positive service you can give to the planet is much more exponential than you've let yourselves believe. We in the higher realms are brimming with joy at the prospect of being able to exist openly on your planet and meet with every one of you who's felt close with our energies. When we refer to our arrival on your planet and assistance with your evolution, we don't just refer to the ship landings of your immediate galactic family, who have so much love and guidance to share. We speak as well of the various angels and archangels, masters and saints, Elohim, seraphim, and every other aspect of the angelic structure or hierarchy if you wish to use that term. All of us will exist happily on your planet and dance, along with your populace, to the music of widespread enlightenment. We'll revel at the progress your society will have made by the time we're able to openly exist on your surface, and needless to say, there's still work to be done before the collective vibration reaches the point of being able to align with ours. If it was up to us, and especially to certain elements of your immediate galactic family who are the closest with your planet, we would have long arrived and helped you out of the many difficult situations you find yourselves in. We don't intervene directly in the affairs of any lower dimensional civilization, but we've had many perimeters lifted in regards to what we can and can't do at Gaia's request, and we work aptly to cover as many facets of your return to full consciousness as possible. Service is our purpose. Needless to say, we work very actively in every moment of this infinite and glorious now to help your planet reawaken to the bliss of your evolving existence. Everything we, and subsequently many of you, choose to do for the Earth's ascension revolves around helping your populace rediscover infinite bliss and wholeness with themselves and their lives. Unhappiness, depression, angst, frustration, and a host of other qualities that are only different shades of the same oppressed energy are expressed constantly on your planet by myriad souls who've forgotten about the realms of infinite joy and bliss. Our aim is to help every one of you re-unlock your sacred connections and remember that the pain and angst are fading aspects of an experience that's being brought into the light with fervor and grace. As you ponder your future and just what you wish to do for the ascension of the planet, remember that you're being supported and loved endlessly by the entirety of your family from beyond. Know, in your darkest hours of despair and difficulty, that we are by your side, holding your hand and doing all we can to remind you that infinite love is not only attainable, but is ever prevalent in the realms you're growing back toward. We seek to let you know that the pain doesn't have to overwhelm you, however strong it is, and that you can constantly tap back into the deepened perception you're finding, and gain a natural and unique experience of bliss from doing so. You can now lay down the need to entertain lower dimensionality in the various forms it's come about. Ultimately, what is or isn't lower dimensional is for you to define with your human senses that perceive such duality, but on a vibrational, energetic and feeling-based level, you can discern those things that no longer fit you or serve you in the way they once did. You may be surprised amidst the course of your awakening from here on out, because you've entered a time of rapid progression. Though many of you have been rapidly progressing for some time now, The leaps you're about to take can be even bolder and greater if you can smoothly flow with these expansions and allow them to take place, understanding when things seem rough that there's a lesson intended to be learned behind everything. A new perspective lies to be obtained. With everything that happens in your lives, a lesson lies to be learned and a new perspective lies to be obtained. You can perhaps take everything occurring in your lives that could be seen as negative in stride, knowing that it's all for your greater growth and development. You're certainly being challenged in this time of rapid transformation, but the challenges you're being given are intended to help you soar to new heights instead of crippling you or pushing you back into your small corners. We've mentioned before that you're emerging from these corners as you embrace expansion and active involvement in the Earth's ascension, and since you're rapidly evolving in this time, you can soon find yourselves far, far away from these corners and deep into the ascension-related affairs of the Earth, perhaps far deeper than you anticipated. We can feel that many of you still wonder about the event that's been branded disclosure and given various other names. We should say, as we have in the past, that this event is inevitable and that various things are ongoing in this moment to help bring disclosure about in a way that doesn't overwhelm your populace. We should say to pay attention to the Growing BRICS Alliance, because among the many other agendas this alliance is adopting that the West wouldn't yet accept, disclosure remains a behind-the-scenes concern for many world leaders who are aware of the planetary situation in more ways than one. World leaders who you wouldn't perhaps see as spiritually aware are still very aware of the existence and presence of your immediate galactic family, and we couldn't express enough that matters playing out as they're presented by your mainstream media are nothing like you're being told. We note that the growing awakening taking place in the conscious public is seeing our presence generally able to be more accepted by the day in terms of the vibration your collective is situated on as a whole. Despite our existence, presence on and around your Earth and the myriad technologies we have to share, our mission isn't to solve your planet's greatest problems ourselves but to provide supporting roles while subsequently working within the perimeters your collective free will allows. Free will is unflinchingly honored. Free will is unflinchingly honored throughout creation, as those who exist under the law of free will as humans define it are forever free to create their experience as they desire. We honor and love you for your free will, and it exists in a different format in the higher dimensions that's also universally honored. We have the free will to create, feel and be anything we desire, but the vibration we're situated upon sees us have no desire to hurt another or perform any act that could be seen as lower vibrational. We have no desire to do such things, as the joy and bliss radiated out to every facet of consciousness sees us express constant love and respect toward one another. This is an experience we excitedly await humanity gaining as a collective, because your populace has remained divided because of perceived differences that you'll come to understand matter little in the face of your energetic ties with each other that can never be broken. As we continue to support every conscious soul on the ground working to awaken the rest of your populace, we see that much progress is being made in various avenues, some of which we couldn't possibly express because of the complex terminology involved. We speak of energetic events and the effects on your populace they're causing, and to keep our reference to them simple enough, we'll repeat that souls you wouldn't expect to awaken to infinite love and a higher truth now can. You're entering a time of quickened yet strong progress, and as we make our final impressions for this communication, we express that you've reached a point of everlasting utilization of your ability to create and sow the changes you've wished to see for so long. We recognize with love that many of you are ready for the earthly experience to be over in terms of the difficulty accompanying it, but this difficulty no longer has to bring you down or take your blissful perception away from you. Rather, it can catapult you to a place of everlasting harmony that you can then express to every person around you who'll pick up on and benefit from it in their own way. Thank you to our universal family. Channeled through Wes Anak. WesAnak.com. AquariusParadigm.com